Rome, a name that echoes through the corridors of time. An empire that not only shaped history, but laid the very foundations of the modern world. From a small city on the banks of the Tiber River, Rome rose ambitious, relentless, and destined to rule the known world. Yet, like all greatness, its rise was epic, and its fall, tragic. Today, as we stand among the ruins, it's impossible not to feel the weight of its history. The time-worn stones stand as witnesses to a power once thought invincible. Yet like every empire, it met its end. How did Rome climb to the unparalleled heights of power? And how did the greatest empire of antiquity collapse so spectacularly? This is the story of the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. It all began with a legend, Romulus and Remus, twin sons of the god Mars, abandoned by the banks of the Tiber and saved by a she-wolf. Destined for greatness, the brothers founded a city. But in a fratricidal dispute, Romulus killed Remus and became Rome's first king. This was the start of an epic saga. Rome began as a humble city-state, fighting for its place among other ancient civilizations. From the start, it displayed an uncommon tenacity. Its favorable geography, with protective hills and the life-giving Tiber, offered the security needed for growth. The city expanded its influence, battling neighboring tribes, forging alliances, and developing a distinct identity. But Rome was not just a city of warriors. From the early days of the Republic, it was shaped by an innovative political system, delicately balancing Senate power and magistrate control. The Roman Republic was an effort to ensure no single man could hold all the power. Romans valued freedom and order, believing their government should reflect these virtues. For centuries, the Republic maintained this balance between the aristocratic elite and the common people. Consuls, elected annually, governed under the Senate's supervision, while tribunes protected the plebeians' interests. Roman society was highly structured and disciplined, with the Roman army its core strength, a near-perfect war machine. As Rome grew, so did its conquests in territory and wealth. The disciplined and unyielding Roman legions marched across battlefields, conquering distant lands and bringing new peoples under Roman rule. Each victory expanded the empire's borders and solidified its position as the greatest power of antiquity. Then came the era of Julius Caesar, a brilliant general, charismatic leader, and visionary who dreamed big for Rome. Caesar was more than a military commander. He was a political strategist who knew that power was won not only on the battlefield, but also in the Senate's intrigues. In 49 BCE, Caesar made a fateful decision. Crossing the Rubicon with his legions, he directly challenged the Senate. Alea iacta est, the die is cast. With these words, Rome plunged into a civil war that shook the Republic's foundations. Caesar emerged victorious, and instead of restoring the Republic, he declared himself dictator for life. From that moment, Rome would never be the same. Caesar envisioned a unified and strong empire under his command. But this concentration of power provoked fear and distrust among senators. In 44 BCE, in a betrayal remembered for millennia, Caesar was assassinated in the Senate by those who feared his growing power. His death plunged Rome into yet another civil war. His grandnephew Octavian seized control, and after years of strife, emerged as Rome's first emperor, adopting the name Augustus. Under Augustus, Rome flourished. He brought stability after decades of war and solidified imperial power. Thus began the Roman Empire, a vast realm stretching from Britain to Egypt, from the Atlantic to the East. This era, known as the Pax Romana, marked 2 centuries of relative peace and prosperity. Under Augustus and his successors, Rome grew in splendor. Its cities became marvels of engineering and architecture, with roads, aqueducts, temples, and monuments rising across the empire. Roman culture, influenced by Greek philosophy, thrived. The Latin language spread, and Rome became the center of the civilized world. Yet even in its glory days, seeds of decline were sown. The concentration of power in the hands of a few emperors brought corruption and misrule. Some emperors, like Caligula and Nero, are remembered for their cruelty and excesses, ruling as tyrants rather than leaders. Political intrigues, senatorial conspiracies, and power struggles began to erode the empire's core. Over time, controlling the empire's vast borders became increasingly difficult. distant provinces were constantly under attack by barbarian forces, testing Rome's limits. By the 3rd century CE, Rome was in crisis. Barbarian invasions grew more frequent, internal power struggles weakened governance, and the economy started to collapse. Roman generals fought each other for the imperial throne while true enemies pressed at Rome's gates. The legions, once the empire's protectors, now struggled to defend its borders. The empire was divided, not just geographically but in spirit. Then, in 410 CE, the unthinkable happened. Rome, the eternal city, was sacked by the Visigoths, led by Alaric. For the first time in nearly 1,000 years, the city fell to foreign forces. This shocking event wasn't the end, though. The Western Empire, weakened and fragmented, continued to deteriorate. Barbarian invasions, political instability, and a lack of strong leadership hastened its collapse. Finally, in 476 CE, the last Western emperor, Romulus and Augustus, was deposed. Rome, the empire that had dominated the world for centuries, had fallen. Yet even in its fall, Rome left an immortal legacy. Its influence endures in our culture, laws, architecture, and countless other fields. Latin, the empire's language, is the root of many modern tongues. Its ideas of governance and justice still shape today's democracies. The ruins of Rome are more than remnants of a distant past. They are symbols of an empire that, even in its decline, left indelible marks on human history. Rome reminds us that every empire, no matter how mighty, is destined to fall. But it also teaches us that, even after the fall, its greatness can transcend time and inspire generations. And so, Rome's story is an eternal lesson in ambition, glory, and the fragility of power. As we walk through its ruins, we hear whispers of its past echoing through the centuries, and we wonder which empire will fall next, and what will rise from its ashes to shape the future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment. Share it with your friends. Thanks for watching, and see you on our next journey through history.